everyone. I'm Damien with Tarot and Beyond. Going to be recording a video today on a new tarot spread I came up with. I published my process and the article I wrote on Medium, and I'll basically be presenting the article here for your pleasure. This is the bedroom me and my wife are staying at. Those are her clothes in the background. That's an elephant. And I'm sitting on a bed. So let's see how this goes today. All right, so I'm going to just get her going here. All right. So the title of the article is Happy Birthday, Lightworker. This birthday tarot spread and wish-making ceremony is for you. And it's by Damien Sabuyan, published on Medium. And I'm not going to click on that link because I'm afraid it'll send me to the abyss, in which I'll never be able to return. So let's just go to the next slide, shall we? All right. Do you consider yourself a light worker, an empath, or a person on the path of ascension? If so, then you might find birthday tarot spreads somewhat lacking. Most generalized tarot spreads focus on the basic three themes of health, career, and romance. While those are tried and true themes of interest to just about anyone, regardless of one's spiritual, religious, or philosophical affiliations, when it comes to those of us who have been opening to the fifth dimension or the fourth density realm of heart-based unity consciousness, we seek perspectives beyond what the limited framework of materialist 3D culture has to offer. All right, so that's the spread. We'll be looking at that further a little bit later. All right, thus, I bring you the Lightworker Birthday Tarot Spread and Wish-Making Ceremony. And that's the cover art for the article on Medium. The birthday wish process. All right, so after coming up with this article on this idea, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be my new way of doing things with the tarot. When it comes to a significant reading, I often do minor readings, like I do weekly 3-card readings, and I'll probably keep with the same format that I have always done with those. But for my more significant readings, I did one for the eclipse and all of that. Those usually are part of like a larger ceremony. So the tarot aspect is just one aspect of the ceremony. So that this is also similar, and where it's you do the birthday wish, and then you do the tarot card reading to help you with the path towards materializing that with wish, or in my case, lots of wishes. Where I'm using the word wishes because that's what we affiliate with birthday wishes, but it's basically intention setting and affirmations. So, or manifestation, as some people call it. So, basically, the format that I think I'm going to do now is basically going to just take this idea and run with it. So the birthday wish process, and that's my Kuan Yin and my blue crystal globe. And the first thing I do is meditate on my birthday wish. What is it that I would really like to have materialized for myself during this next year cycle? We all know about the custom of blowing out candles on our birthday cake. That custom has largely been stripped of its metaphysical power, but as light workers and spiritual alchemists, we can borrow the most fun aspect of the birthday wish and implement it for optimal effectiveness. The candle. There we go, the candle. I use a single candle, which I set up on my altar. But before I use the candle, I want to make sure I have my wish all worked out. After meditating on my wish, I write it out in my manifest journal. I write and rewrite until I feel like I've sculpted the words exactly the way I like them. And this is a picture of my manifest journal. That's a sigil that I made about a year and a half, a couple years ago, and specifically for that manifest journal. So it's a journal that I just use for the purpose of manifesting. I do 369 writing, tarot card readings that are devoted towards bringing something into my life. So, and this is what the inside cover looks like. So, Central Adventurers is me and my wife, Andrea. Those are our respective sun sign, ascendant, and moon sign. I'm a Gemini with a Leo rising and a Sag moon, and Andrea is a Scorpio with a Pisces rising and a Gemini moon. And I like this quote, act as if you are and you will be. And so next I sit in front of my altar, I light my candle, and I recite my wish 3 times. The first recitation I verbalize in a slow, deliberate manner at a volume just below a shout and just above my normal speaking voice. And I will demonstrate that when I come to that part. And this is part of my altar. That is the 7-pointed star, the septagram that was carved by my friend Marvin Seaborn. And that's a quartz crystal at the very front there. So, as I recite, I take my cupped hand and drum it lightly on my upper heart or thymus gland. It's right here. So I do tapping as I get into it's interesting because it sort of reminds me, I've been to Native American church a few times, and the drumming that they have, well, along with the singing, it's very, very similar. I found myself getting into that, that kind of and it helps the mind get into a more trance-like state so that you can basically rise above your ego bullcrap and get into that state. And that tapping also, it has the effect of anchoring my words into my physical body and my upper heart, where unconditional love is said to be housed. The second recitation I verbalize as a whisper. So do those 3 times. And then the third recitation I verbalize in my head, paying attention to each word as I think it, and I imagine that I am standing at a podium in a room composed of all my ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, guardian angels, etc. Just think of like a TED Talk. You know, they always have those people in the crowd in TED Talk. There's always the shots of the crowd every once in a while. But just imagine, instead of just regular old people in the crowd, it was like your ascended masters, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, all that. And they're up there supporting you. So that's sort of what I visualize. And unlike the crowd, they're actually going to help support me, and not just by clapping, but by helping me manifest the things that I am asking for. At least that's the idea. The recitation portion takes a considerable amount of time because I'm wishing for a multitude of things. I approach the wishes as if they are listed on a menu. So rather than wishing for these items, I'm choosing them. I will share what I wish for this past June 18th, which marked my 54th birthday in this timeline as Damien Benjamin Sebuyan. So I choose to purify, optimize, and align my physical and subtle bodies in order to accurately perceive how to best serve the highest good in every situation and in all of my relationships. So I choose quick, effective healing on my left ankle and foot, which I broke in January. I choose to receive opportunities for contacting and communicating with any and all beings of light who love me and have my best interests at heart. So now these are beings of light. I'm thinking in terms of the close encounter of the 5th kind. And this is where, you stand outside and you meditate, send Reiki, whatever you do, and then you call on the beings of light who love me. Now, or these are like extraterrestrials, extra dimensional beings. They might be the same. I don't know. And so I've been fascinated with them, if not slightly obsessed with wanting to have some contact with these beings. I know that I am in my dreams, and I know I am a little bit in my meditations. When I visualize, I've been seeing all kinds of faces, mostly blue being faces. And I think those are Arcturians. But that's why the next one, I choose to receive contact and to engage in conscious communication with the beings of light known as Arcturians. And I have a link there. I'm not going to click on that right now. If you want to know about Arcturians, there's plenty of stuff out there. I'm only just beginning to find out about them in my intellectual brain. I choose to have patience and faith in my own spiritual unfoldment and in the materialization of that unfoldment in the 3D. So that's a big one for me, patience and faith. I can get a little bit impatient and doubty. I just remind myself that I'm 54 years old, and throughout my whole life, divine timing has always worked and never let me down. It's just in the moment it's harder to zoom out to see how it's going to work out, but it almost always does, even if there's some rocky turbulence before the destination, So anyway, the next one, I choose to receive the ideal living situation for me and Andrea so that we may regularly conduct our spiritual work for the benefit of the highest good. So I'm going to be making some videos, Andrea and I together, on our grand experiment. It's actually been 2 years in the making, but I feel like there's enough data and experiences that we have gathered and to actually start talking on this topic. So that's going to be the subject. This last one here, I choose to receive the ideal living situation for me and Andrea so that we may regularly conduct our spiritual work for the benefit of the highest good. That's going to be the hypothesis. Going to be worded differently, but our hypothesis is through using various tools and whatnot, we will be able to choose or manifest our ideal living situation. The tarot card reading is designed to help me basically purge and understand what's holding me back in my life, and how do I integrate those principles, those samskaras, those either integrate it with the shadow work or purge it if that's necessary, dissolve it, release, whatever it is. There's stuff that's in the way of me becoming my highest self. So that's what the tarot card reading is designed. It's designed to uncover what those things are, to reveal them. And my subconscious knows what it is. My conscious self might not know. And the tarot card is the bridge between the tarot. Okay, these are the questions I ask using the card placements pictured below. The top card represents the first question, and I count downwards from left to right until I get to the bottom, the 12th card position. It should be noted that for me, I use the card at the bottom of the deck to represent the 12th position. So I basically shuffled the cards, I put the 11 out, and then I took the card at the bottom of the deck, and that became the 12th card. All right, because that's an outcome card. So these are the questions. So first question, what is the major spiritual unfoldment theme for the time period spanning, for me it was June 18th, 2024 and to June 18th, 2025, and on this current timeline? So what is the major spiritual unfoldment theme for the time period spanning those dates on this current timeline? Second question, what is the nature of all that has kept me from realizing and embodying my true self on this current timeline? How do I dissolve, release, or integrate all that has kept me from realizing my true self? How can I almost How can I most effectively serve the highest good in this timeline? How do I achieve an ideal energy body? How do I achieve an ideal emotional body? Oh, this is the spread, by the way. I meant to put that on there. So, so the first card is the one on the top. The second card is the one to the left below it, and then the middle, and then to the right, and blah, blah, all the way down. How do I achieve an ideal mental body? So, how do I, the mental body is a lot of where my awareness resides, and how, where being a Gemini, Mercury and Gemini, I very much live in my mental body, and my thoughts kind of rule me. So basically, how do I get the ideal mental body, and to have that ideal mental body be more in the receptive state to receive, and then how so I can act more from my higher self, my spiritual self. So 8, how do I achieve ideal health and wealth in the third dimensional material world on this timeline, which is the same base. I didn't say physical body in this one because it is more about like the pentacles. The pentacles relate to health and wealth, and it's the physical body, but it's also the material world. So that's what number 8 is referring to. And number 9, how do I achieve an ideal relationship with my ego? How do I achieve an ideal relationship with, and for me, this is my wife, Andrea Stone. And 11, how do I achieve an ideal relationship with others? And that's just others, basically anybody that's not me and not Andrea, since she's already part of this. And then the last card was from the bottom of the deck. What is the likely outcome for my spiritual unfoldment during this yearly cycle? So those are the questions. And so when I interpret the cards, this is what I do. I've been doing this since I was, oh, well, I'll just read this. I first switch my mental body into receptive mode. I ask the question to myself as I look at the respective cards. The first key words and phrases that comes to mind, I write them down. I've been reading cards since 1997, so I've got it down pretty good. I found that my intuition will pick up the most significant aspect of the card as it appears to its respective question. So, now I wrote this because I included this because you can really get in depth with any card, and there's so many symbols and meanings, but I'm not looking for a novel worth of information for per card. I just want to look for the most straightforward, applicable, significant meanings to the cards, and that best answer the questions. So I do that by just seeing what first pops into my mind when I see the card and I read the question associated with it. So once I have the phrases all written down, I will return to the reading in the days that follow and journal about them in more detail. The key phrases act as the primary focal point, the key to open the door to deeper, more significant meanings. All right, so this is the reading that I did. I found it interesting. There's some, I like to see what all the little how they relate to each other and the patterns outside of each card, but like as a whole. For instance, if you look at the second row, it's a 6 and an ace and then a 6. The first 6 cards are minor arcana, and then the second 6 cards are all major arcana in a row. That's quite crazy. And I think even the reversals are true. So I think, I got 2 reversals in the first half and 2 reversals in the second half. So those are just things that popped out as I looked at the reading here. So, so if you notice, my answers aren't huge and long. So for what is the major spiritual unfoldment theme, I got the Page of Wands. So that's, I love the pages. The pages are often like inner child. I see as the inner child, innocence. So it's or the oftentimes there's different ways to look at the court cards in relationship to each other. Some people think of the page as like the son or daughter, and um, or the daughter, the knight as the son, the queen as the mother, the king as the father. So like a familial thing. Um, but I look at the page usually as the inner child and innocence. And if you look at all the pages on the traditional Rider-Waite deck, they're always much bigger than their the environment. Their heads are way up in the sky, just like in this picture, and he looks like a huge giant. So that's why I wrote enthusiastic, playful, energetic, innocent joy in my evolving spirituality. So basically, have fun with this, and it's also I'm still learning. So the page is like a student, a perpetual student, and of life. But he's an eager student. This is his upright card. And being the wands, he's got lots and lots and lots of energy. Think of like a 2 or 3 year old who can just ransack a house, knock everything off the shelves if you let him do that. Let him go for just a half hour, your house will be overturned. Now, that's the kind of energy that it's nice to have, but not necessarily directing energy like that. Anyway, so that was the page, and that's how I read it. So, how I'm going with it so far. So, what is the nature of all that has kept me from realizing and embodying my true self in this current timeline? I get the Six of Pentacles, learn to receive the blessings of abundance by realizing that my worthiness is a birthright and not something that needs to be proven. So, I don't have to prove my worthiness. That is something that I've been working with my whole life. I was an older child of a father with major control issues and was a rageaholic as well as an alcoholic. And he was a very complicated man. We became very good friends in my adulthood, and then he died in 2016. But a lot of stuff got imprinted with me, and that's one of them, is that I have to constantly prove my worth, and it's never enough. So it's interesting that the 6 should come up. And of course, there's all kinds of ways to read the 6 of Pentacles card, but because I asked it in this context, what is the nature of all that has kept me from realizing and embodying my true self? It's receiving and giving, but this has to do with worthiness as well. And also, if not to forget that when I'm in a position to share, to do that, not to hoard. Not that that's ever really a problem with me. I usually have the opposite. Give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away now. All right, so 3, how do I dissolve or integrate all that has kept me from realizing my true self? So, first one was, what is the nature? And then how do I mitigate this? And I got the Ace of Swords, and created mental bodies on its way. A new cycle of positive thinking is here. So all the aces are very positive in readings, and because they basically represent the essence of that element. So, and it's also Ace is 1, so it's new. It's newness, it's freshness, but it's also the essence of that. So it's kind of like a mind sweep in a good way, kind of like clearing the mind so new ideas can come up, new elevated divine ideas. So that's how I will dissolve. Think of refreshing my mind, my mental body. Next, 3 here. How can I most effectively serve the highest good in this timeline? So that's like an overall question I ask myself every day. I wake up in the morning and I say, how can I most effectively serve the highest good today? And I check in, see where I shine when I think about the things I'm going to do, and then I go ahead and do them. But I always begin with, how can I most effectively serve the highest good? So I wanted to ask that in a larger context. And I got the answer: as I receive more and more. This is number 4. Oh, yes, the 6 of Wands reversed, that second 6. As I receive more and more energetic and physical upgrades, and as I unfold to greater heights, remember to stay humble, for it is pride that will stall my progress. So, and I say that because it's reversed. So the reverse 6 is could be pride, arrogance. I have a Leo rising. This is a Leo card. Yeah, be careful. Remember to stay humble. Next, King of Cups. How do I achieve an ideal energy body? And so, energy body in tarot is general would be ruled by the wands, which is fire. And I got the opposite. I got a water card. Got a cups card, the King of Cups. So this is how I interpret it. I master my heart by continuing the practice of programming water using the 72 names of God. And I'm going to be making some videos on that. I've been writing some articles. Going to be getting them published soon on the 72 names of God and how to use them, how I use them. So Umabel is the name of the angel that's associated with that. And I basically been on my altar, been putting up glasses of water, little mini mason jars, and I keep them for about 10 days. And I do singing bowls to them. I meditate, it's Reiki, and then I use Umabel to purify the water, and then I use another name of God depending on what quality I want to program the water with. After I'm done programming it for 10 days, then I drink from it. I don't drink the whole thing. I drink it until it's empty, and then I refill it, and then I start a whole other cycle. I think I'm going to keep 2 going so that when I drink one, I have another one ready to go. I don't have to refill it. But anyway, so I'm having fun with the whole water idea of programming water. So 6, how do I achieve an ideal emotional body? I avoid, and this is 2 of Swords reversed. So here I'm talking about my emotional body, and I get an air card. So, sword card. Avoid making choices with my mental body. 2 is usually often about making choices. It's balance. It's harmonizing its polarity and its relationships. So avoid making choices with my mental body. Instead, pay attention more and more to my intuition, and my intuition will get louder and louder. And so this card has a lot of blue in it. So blue is consciousness, subconsciousness. It's water. In tarot, it is. And so she's blindfolded. So a lot of the attributes of 2 of Swords are obviously going to apply, but it's also saying, because it's reversed, saying avoid using your mind, your mental body, your intellect to make choices. Make the choices with your intuition. So that's also why I'm working with my intuition more and more, to get that a little bit louder and than my mind. So the next set of questions. 7, how do I achieve an ideal mental body? So here I get the Devil. Dun, dun, dun. And now this is a Capricorn card, the Major Arcana card. And it is number 15, which adds up to 6, which number 6 is the Lover's card, which is my birth card. Being a Gemini, all Geminis have the Lover's card as their birth card. And it's interesting, the similarities between the Lover's card and the Devil card. And so, anyway, so the answer I came up with: discipline my perception. Hebrew letter that is associated with the Devil is Ain, or Ayin. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. And it means I. And so the Devil is about perception. And we can easily get deceived from our eyes. Our eyes can deceive us, right? So, discipline my perception to differentiate between the real and the unreal, the truth from the lies, the material from the spiritual. The devil is famously known as the king of the material world. He lords over it, rules over it. And that's the inverse of the pan god, who is a kind of protector of the material world, and he supports it, where the devil is the inversion of the pan god, and he rules over it, rules over humanity, and he tries to master it. And then he tries to get everybody to worship it the way he is controlling it. So they're not worshiping the earth or the material world, they're worshiping him, basically. So, um, how I, that's how I master my mental body is work on my perception and my discrimination. So 8, how do I achieve ideal health and wealth in the third dimensional material world on this timeline? And it was interesting. I got the magician card reversed. Magician's ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is in Gemini in my chart, and it's reversed. So oftentimes the magician is where we place our focus. Where am I putting my attention? Where attention goes, energy flows. And the magician is also a masculine energy. So there's electromagnetic. Magnetic is more of the feminine. Electro is more of the masculine, because it's overt. It hunts. It is a seeker. So because it's reverse, use all my attention, but focus my attention inward, work on myself, and then be a fisherman. Wait for the fish, wait for things to come to me. Don't go pursuing it, don't go chasing it. So you probably heard attract, don't chase. That's what I see as the answer for number 8. And be a fisherman, not a hunter. Cast aside my ego desires for the one true desire of unity with God, and all else will fall into place. Number 9, how do I achieve an ideal relationship with my ego? All right, interesting. I got the sun reverse. So the sun is generally a very illuminating, no pun intended, card. It's your inner illumination shining out, and it's renewal. It's basically your essence and being kind of shining forth. So, of course, I mean, there's a lot more to that card, but how I answered it is shine the light of awareness into the underworld. So it's reverse. So taking the sun, my consciousness, and shining it. Basically, this card, the way I'm reading it, means doing shadow work. Shine the light of awareness into the underworld in order to illuminate the darkness of my shadow side. And 10, how do I achieve an ideal relationship with Andrea, my wife? So we already have a pretty good relationship. So perhaps I should have changed that word achieve to maintain, or maintain and improve, but whatever. How do I achieve an ideal relationship with Andrea? So I got the Emperor, which she's been getting a lot of Aries cards, and she's a Scorpio, and she's an introvert. So she's been asked more and more to become more of a leader, more kind of an inspired initiator of action. And now I got the Emperor in how do I best achieve a ideal relationship, and I get the Emperor. So I read this as encouraging Andrea's power and authority through inspiration. So by example, basically, not through verbal directives. And in the article, I think I wrote mansplaining. So I have a tendency to do that, although I'm much better than I used to be. I've realized now that my way is quite different than her way. She's a Scorpio. I'm a Gemini. We do things differently. She's kind of has an attraction to more dark energies, negative energies. Not that she wants to manifest them, but she feels like she wants to transform them. and that's a Scorpio thing. It's all about transformation. She's also got 4 or 5 planets in Scorpio in the 8th house, so mega Scorpio energy. My teacher called the Emperor the Kingmaker. He's not interested in telling everybody what to do. He's interested in empowering people to do for themselves and to be their own leaders. So that's kind of my role there. 11, how do I achieve an ideal relationship with others? That includes anybody who's not me, basically. So I get the Hierophant, and it's the 5th card, is 5 rules it, and 5 is in numerology, is my life path number, and I think it's my soul number as well. I got 5 in 2 places. We have 5 core numbers in numerology, and 2 of them are 5. And it makes a lot of sense because that's me. So 5 in tarot is the Hierophant, and he's the mediator, and 5 is the mediator between 1 and 4 and 6 and 9. So communication is huge with the number 5, and the Hierophant is the highest vibration of that. And he stands for intermediator between the human and the divine. And he basically channels the divine to the human. He does this for himself. So it's basically, we all have the inner Hierophant. So this is basically telling me to speak the truth and channel the higher self in my interactions. Don't hide the Hierophant, let the Hierophant out. And that's also has been a struggle with me. So number 12, the last card. Couldn't get better than that. What is the likely outcome for my spiritual unfoldment during this yearly cycle? The 10 of Pentacles. The 10s and the Tree of Life represent Malkuth. Malkuth is the 10th Sephira, and it's what is manifested in the earthly realm. So if you look at the card, you probably can notice the shape there, the design of the pentacles. The 10 of them are in the shape of the Tree of Life. Malkuth would be the bottom one. So that's what the 10 is. And in the picture, it's there's like a legacy being shown. There's an old man with there's a husband and a wife, there's kids, there's dogs, and there's the old man. So the kingdom of heaven is embodied in my flesh. That should be embodied, not embodies. And in Paul Foster Case's affirmations on the 10 numbers, number 10 is the kingdom of heaven is embodied in my flesh. So this is basically bringing heaven down to earth through the body. And so that's basically the outcome of this year's cycle. So interesting. I will monitor that. So this is, and this is an ongoing thing. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you do it. I do these types of readings. I set people up. My tarot card readings are more of an experience than just your typical reading. And so, yeah, you can email me if you're interested, and we'll set something up for you. And I will put my email address in the video. And I'll be noting my progress of my birthday wishes and of my oracles revealed in the birthday tarot reading on my YouTube channel. And as always, may the highest good for all be achieved in my lifetime. Blessings.